And good day, everyone. Richard Cowperthwait for Northwest Access TV. Thanks for joining us. And we have a show kind of pretty much related to Town Meeting Day coming up on Tuesday, March 7th. And happy to be guesting with two Swanton Town folks, James Gilmet, the outgoing chairman of the Swanton Selectboard, and Town Administrator Brian Savage. Thanks for the time, gentlemen. So, geez, James, you're near the end of the line here on the select board. Again, your second stint, but again, I guess it was time. That sounds like not too many some mixed emotions about soon to be leaving the select board.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it. That's for sure. Yeah, just shy of 8 years been on it. So
wow, long time.
It has been chair for the last 3 years. So that's a big pair of shoes to fill in the chair. So
but pretty busy with your work. Busy
with my work, busy with home life. Time to take some time to take care of other things. And it's. I wish I had the time to commit to it farther, but it's time to take a break. Maybe later on in life I'll come back. I won't be far. So
My second show of the day, I just interviewed a little while ago the two folks looking to succeed you, Nick Brasso and Cody Hemingway.
Good.
And next week I'll be talking to the candidate. I guess that's a 2-year term they're going after, and then Steve Bourgeois, and incumbent on the board who was appointed, of course. Yeah. And Jen Yandel running for the 3-year term.
That's right.
So anyway, a couple of contests coming up. Yep. Looking back, about 8 years. One particular highlight or some highlights, what kind of comes right to mind? Anything more than, I realize you've dealt with a ton of stuff, but a
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Feel like you're leaving the town as select board chair in pretty decent shape?
I think so. I think they're heading in the right direction. We've got a lot of irons in the fire and things going on, and I think they're heading in the right direction. Yeah. It's certainly been an interesting 8 years on the board, and a lot of things have changed from day one. It's not like it used to be. It's everything's got paper trails attached to it and lawyers, and it's just not. Everything's not simple anymore.
I was going to say, so just more complicated. It's kind of a busier time, busier. Yeah. Interesting. I'm sure this guy probably gives you guys just a little bit of help, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit. He's been a very great asset.
So Brian, on board now for a little over a year.
That's right. Yes.
So you feel like you got a pretty good handle on the job at this point?
Yes, but there's always something that comes up that you've never thought about or have really. It's a wonderful job, but like anything, you have your plan set for the day and the phone call. Well, that'll take care of that plan. We have to go on to this, and that's fine. And
I'm sure, obviously, every day is different. No two days are.
It is, and it's great people to work for and work with, and it's been a very positive experience. I'm glad to be able to do it.
Yeah, and you mentioned a full-time assistant, not just for yourself, but I guess a new position coming on board?
Yeah, it's an administrative assistant position that will provide assistance to me as well as to the zoning administrator as well, and then they will also take the minutes of the DRB and the Planning Commission and the Select Board. So being able to get somebody who is well qualified, the board thought it best to make it a full-time position. So.
Absolutely.
Interesting. So, are you just trying to find that person now? Or
not yet. The board will be hopefully given their final approval on the job description.
Any day it's going to go out for,
right?
And then we'll put it out. Yeah.
Is it a little easier? I know, just with your own job, James, just tough. Seems like everybody's can't find enough help. Has it been a little easier with municipal jobs? Finding if you're running into or not
really.
Not really. We've been lucky. We had a couple openings in the last year in the highway department, and we were lucky to find some good quality candidates to fill them. So, but there's other towns that are struggling to find help, and for certainly.
Right. Interesting. Of course, St. Albans Town looking for a new town manager at this point, with Kerry Johnson soon to be stepping down after a lot of years on the job. So I've got the warning in front of me. Nothing's jumping out as in different kind of things, but anything of note on the warning? Again, obviously the regular kind of the usual money items. Anything? I see 2 Swanton Public Library items. Is there usually just one? Is that something different? Looking for 2 appropriations?
There's two appropriations because was it last year? Or the year?
Last year.
Last year, the town took over the operation portion. building portion of the library.
Oh, right,
So
which
the town's always owned the building,
Okay.
but we took over taking care of the maintenance of the building and everything.
Okay.
So then the library basically just takes care of the books in the interior part of the building.
Okay.
Just made things smoother for us. And
Yeah.
And this is the second year that it's been
Yeah.
worn this way as well.
Okay,
Last
second year.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you fare? I mean, obviously inflation or the money items you're looking to get approval for, any up significantly or not too much or?
Not really. The biggest problem we had emergency culvert repair on Macomb Shore last fall that had to be done. We didn't have the money set aside for it, obviously, because it was an emergency.
Is it a culvert issue?
It was
or-
a big culvert we had to change in the last minute, and that raised our highway budget quite a bit this year because we had a budget for money we didn't have last year to pay for it. So that's the biggest thing in there.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a standard increase: fuel, parts, repairs,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
So inflation continues to be a factor. I guess it's
Right.
nationally going down some, still I think over, what,
yeah.
6% or something?
Right, but
Yeah.
fuel being a major part of what we had to budget for, and along with the rest of the stuff, it was playing a major part in the budget.
Yeah. Highway Department, any new work coming up? I mean, you're always doing, obviously, paving roads and
Yeah,
stuff.
the usual paving. We try to do as much as we can, but that's another thing. The price of that has gone up so much now that it's, it shrinks down what you can do. And
Boy, miles of town roads, James, have you got that in your head? Or
we
Brian?
have 56 miles, maybe here more than that, of town road we maintain. I think it's a little bit more than that.
And now everything paved or not quite everything?
99% of it.
Yeah.
I think we have one road left, the Jura Road, and
Really?
that's the only one that's not paved.
Really?
There's not even a house on the Swanton section of it. So, but other than a couple Class 4 roads that aren't really, they're not open year round.
Because in my old days out in West Swanton, Lakewood Drive area, when I guess the road going over to Tabor, it seems like that was, I remember a dirt road there going back
for a
enough
long
years.
time.
Yeah.
It's another one needs to be paved.
Interesting.
Right.
How often do you try to do repaving of roads? Is there a kind of a schedule?
Try every 10 to 15 years to
Yeah.
repave it. It depends on the amount of traffic the
Yeah.
road gets is the biggest thing,
Yeah.
whether it holds up or not. But try to get at least 10 years.
Yeah. I'm sure we usually talk about Route 78. One of these years, some work on Route 78 supposedly.
Well, they paved it. I mean, what do you want?
They paved
Weren't
it.
they talking about maybe making some real changes
they
at one
are.
point?
They are.
They are?
They still are.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've come to us a couple of times with proposals, and I don't think it's going to be a massive change from what they've proposed us last. Just a little bit wider, a couple feet, it ain't much, and the elevation isn't much, maybe a foot.
Really?
And whatever they talked about, it's not a huge dramatic change,
Interesting.
unfortunately, from the original plan 20 years ago.
Yeah. Because I certainly can remember some flooding times. In fact,
Yeah.
I almost lost one of my old Subarus. I'm probably going back to early 80s.
Yeah.
I got a huge break. I was driving in from Lakewood Drive to the village
Yeah.
and got into some high water, stupid me. Didn't think it was that big a deal. And then ice chunks started coming across.
Yeah.
So my car got kind of stranded in that, and a trucker saved me. A big truck came along and blocked the ice.
Yeah.
I dislodged some ice and scampered to higher ground. I was very lucky, but anyway. But that's still that section not too far out of the village. That still floods periodically.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing's changed, obviously.
Nothing's changed, no.
Nothing's changed.
So when they talk about a higher elevation, probably still not enough to prevent.
I don't think so, no.
I wouldn't think so,
No.
Especially with what we had back in, was it
2011, of course, was
Yeah.
the
2011, then 2018 with the
Yeah.
ice being high.
Wow.
Yeah.
A foot elevation increase is just not enough. It's and I don't. I suppose it's better than what it is now, but it's going to cost still several $1 million, and it's still going to get flooded over.
Yeah.
Yes, there's concern. If I was still wearing my old hat in Montpelier, I'd say
Yeah.
something about
Yeah.
that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So kind of the usual repaving for
Yep.
police protection, pretty much same hours and for the
Same
next
hours we're
budget.
sticking with for now.
Yeah.
It just couldn't justify the extra cost to
Yeah.
change, so.
I mean, I suspect a lot of people would like to see more hours and stuff, but obviously it comes down to money. So same
Yep.
same hours.
Yep.
Still, you feel like Swanton Village PD does a decent job in the town?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For what we pay them for, for what hours that we,
Yeah.
we only get 8 hours a day that we contract with them.
So 8 hours a day?
Yeah, 7
Interesting.
days a week, so.
Speeding complaints, is that kind of the biggest complaint, or plenty of
I
complaints,
think
other
it
complaints?
always is,
Yeah.
that it's, we haven't, just been quiet, but it is winter time, so,
Yeah.
but that's usually speeding, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
certainly.
it's not just Swan, it's everywhere,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
the state, it's,
I mean, I actually, for myself, the speed limit actually means I'm pretty comfortable with speed limits in my
Yeah.
old age and my often travels to Enosburg. I have cars backed up on behind me on 105
Yeah.
every time I'm anywhere,
Yeah.
it seems like. But yeah, speeding seems like the big issue. Fire protection, anything new on the Swanton Fire Department front?
No.
Equipment-wise,
Not much.
department's doing
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
seems to be.
Yeah. I was just briefly in the station Monday evening. Actually, I'm still on the department, but I am retiring.
Oh, is that right?
In the second week in March.
Or how many years, Brian?
30.
Wow.
Is that
roughly.
right?
Yeah.
You still go out on calls? I mean,
No, I haven't been
it's
out.
been a while.
That's a young person's job.
Interesting. I think the now former retiring village, Reg Belleville, Reg is or was a long
He
time
was too.
fire department guy too, right?
But we're both. He's the director of emergency management still,
Okay.
and he plans on staying that way. And I'm the assistant or the coordinator of emergency management. So we still have our fingers in it.
I think kind of the first time I was really dealing with Reg Beck in my kind of regular reporting days was the ice storm. I remember a lot of dealings with
Yeah.
Reg Beck in 1998.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and I spent a lot of hours riding around and
Right.
working
Yeah.
together on that.
And
Yeah.
I bet.
It was-
So back to the warning. So nothing really out of the ordinary under town general
No.
expenses, kind of pretty much regular stuff.
Pretty much regular stuff, yeah.
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 In terms of, what about, as I mentioned, I just interviewed Nick Brasso and Cody Hemingway. They said they do run into people asking about a merger. I know Swanton officials love it when I bring that up, but
Yeah.
is that an issue? Does that issue come up with you, James, much or not much?
Not very often.
No?
Yeah, I think you're the other one that brings it
Yeah,
up.
that's what I'm told, although they said
Yeah.
they had been running into that some.
Yeah.
But again, you're content. You think having a town and village, two, I mean, the state considers it to be one town, but Swanton
It's-
Village, obviously,
It's,
an incorporated village in the town.
maybe it would be the right thing someday, but I
Yeah.
just don't see it happening with the village having their own power and the water and the sewer that they
Yeah.
deal with. And why would the town combine with that?
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible,
Yeah.
especially the way things are going today and the prices of stuff. And
Yeah. But not an issue that
it's not
comes
on the
up.
discussion table.
Brian, do you get people ask you about that once
Oh,
in a
yeah,
while?
they do. But most of the conversation has occurred on social media.
Yeah.
And do you deal with social media?
I read it, but I may not comment.
Well, you're ahead of me. I just don't. I don't even go near. James,
Oh, I
do you
read
deal
it
with
too.
social media?
I read it and stay right away from it. So
But you read
yeah,
it.
yeah. I just sometimes it's easier that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't comment. I just read it. And they can, as with anything, they can discuss it at length on social media, but
Sure.
that's not
Yeah.
going to get anything done.
And of course, anonymously, you're not saying. Do some people throw their names
Oh,
on?
yeah, their names.
Oh,
are
yeah.
Oh, they do?
right there.
As,
Okay.
as I always tell them, we meet twice a month.
Yeah.
Select board meetings. Come to the select board
Yeah.
meeting and talk to us.
Right.
Get the truth. Get the right answer.
Right. And again, and precious few people. I mean,
Yeah.
have you got some meeting? I mean, do a few people sometimes show or
Get a couple. We don't
couple?
get many.
Not
Yeah.
many.
Unless there's a topic they're coming for or
Right.
something. but-
Are you still
Yes,
zooming
still
meetings?
Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoom in regular.
So that
meetings.
presumably gets a few more
It
people.
gets a few more. It makes it
Yeah.
easier for some
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And I should note, again, public info, again, we're taping this show for the record on, I think I had the date wrong before, Wednesday, Feb 15, that sound right?
15th. Yep.
Public informational meeting, and again, that's joined, I guess, Village Town,
And
Tuesday, Feb 28, 7 p.m. at the Village Complex.
Right, and we have one correction. We just learned
Yeah.
this the other day.
Yeah.
The link for the Zoom for the informational meeting that's published in this
And
warning
the town report's just out today, Feb
Right.
15, I
is
guess.
not correct. The village
really?
changed the link, and since it's being held at the village office. So
really?
stay tuned. We'll make sure that
Get
the
the
new
right
link is out every place, and that and if anybody's got any questions, certainly feel free to give us a call at the town office.
Hopefully, and having covered 1 million of those meetings in the past,
Yeah.
very few people tend to show up. But that's Joint Village Town.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You're working on a new website, a Village
Yes,
Town
we
getting
are.
together on
We
a new
are,
website?
Our website is very outdated. It's very difficult now to service it because the company is sold. And the village has got similar issues with their website. So in the interest of being efficient and saving money, we hope, we are going to try a joint website.
Interesting.
And it makes it easier for the people out
Yeah, it
there.
sounds
Because
like
half people don't understand there's a village in a town.
sure.
So
I'm sure.
if there's one Swanton
Right.
website, then they can
Yeah.
find everything there.
And so the village manager, Bill Sheets, and I will be meeting with the vendor who is going to be developing that site on next Wednesday, I believe it is, to start this process, right? What we've done right now, for anybody who's going to see this, if you go to a Town of Swanton website, there's a lot of information that's no longer there. And I went in and took it off because the more that you have out there, the more expensive it will be to convert it. So there was a lot of pages out there that were very old, so they've been removed, and so that we get pretty much a fresh start and build off from that. So it should be up and going, I would say, hopefully by late summer.
By late summer,
Yeah.
so it takes a while.
It takes a while, yeah.
But the first joint town-village website.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yep.
sounds like a pretty reasonable way to go.
Yeah.
And again, speaking of town reports, they'll be available. They won't be hard to find for folks who are in Swanton, a lot of stores and
There'll
stuff.
be a lot of stores and
Yeah.
businesses, and then, of course, there'll be a supply at the village office as well as the
Can always
town
stop the
office.
town hall.
Right.
Up.
And as well as the library and other
Local
other
stores
places.
will have them.
Yeah.
Any new wrinkles to the Just Out Town report, James? Pretty much format-wise, pretty much.
Pretty much format.
Nice,
Yeah.
Brian and I were taking a look at the cover
Yep.
photo. That's
Looks
kind of
great.
cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think today, again, we're taping the show Feb 15. I think I heard from one of the town clerks that today's the day that
Okay.
town, so anybody watching this show, you should be able to find your
Yeah.
Yeah.
town report, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big, as you look ahead, as you're about to leave the board, biggest challenge facing Swanton as you see it, James? Any one particular issue that stands out?
Not anything particular.
Yeah.
You know. Just
So-
keeping up with the flow of everything.
Yeah.
You know. That's the biggest thing.
Just sounds like the affordable, of course, the governor's talking, trying to make Vermont more affordable. Boy, I'm saying, if you can hold,
luck with
if you
that.
can just hold the, just keep
Yeah.
steady ground and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
I mean, is that
exactly.
conceivable? I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
immersed in this, and when I hear
I mean,
making Vermont more affordable, I mean, I
Yeah.
just can't picture it.
No, I mean, we try to make the budget as level as possible,
Yeah.
but still a lot of things are out of our control,
Yeah.
you know, price
And-
increases and stuff.
And probably worth noting for folks who, get their tax bill without thinking about it too much, the municipal portion of that's roughly about a quarter of your tax bill, the education about three
Yeah.
quarters.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
pretty close.
municipal side seems to do a better job of keeping things not going up so much. But
Yeah.
anyway, no one thing really jumps out at you.
No,
And
no, nothing particular.
what would you say again? About 8 years on the board.
Yep.
Biggest satisfaction? Any one or two issues that gave you the most satisfaction in your tenure? Anything jumping out at you for that?
Nothing particular.
Yeah.
It's just so many different things we've done in
Yeah.
the years I've been on the board. that-
Yeah. Any particular disappointment? Anything you're especially disappointed you didn't deal with or didn't deal better with?
Not really.
No.
I can't think of anything particular.
Yeah.
No.
That's,
Yeah.
Brian, looking ahead to the next year, again, you got a lot of, as James said, a lot of things in the fire, but
Yeah.
any particular, bigger issues coming up that you'll be spending more time with than other issues? Any few issues that are kind of topping the agenda?
Well, the Recreation Commission has got some plans.
That's a big, for a community center.
recreation center. I'm sure that I'll be involved in somewhat in that as that progresses forward.
Yeah.
And then the LVRT.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll be meeting on Friday with former Select Board Chair Joel Clark, who's kind of spearheading that effort.
Oh,
He's
great.
done a lot of work with that, and we're going to be meeting on that. And so that's set to go. I just signed the grant agreement just the other day, and we're getting like a $375,000 grant. So I'm looking forward to those two projects, and see as we go forward.
Our sidewalk, the MVU.
The MVU sidewalk
That
is an
was on the
ongoing.
list.
It's moving forward.
It's moving forward, but they're still doing final engineering work, and then they got to go through property for right-of-way acquisition.
How many properties are involved, do you know?
That
10 maybe?
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Well, that
Somewhere's in there.
brings me back to one of the sadder stories that didn't get done in St. Albans in my many years. When whoever was the entity had funding
Yeah.
for a rec path from the city down to St. Albans Bay.
Yeah.
Like at the time, my vague memory is maybe 600,000 or something.
Yeah.
But they couldn't convince, there were just a few property
we had-
owners.
Was it last year we had the study about
Yeah.
going from Swanton out to Macomb Shore?
Right, you gave that
And
some
that was
thought.
$3 million then, so
Wow.
it's probably 6 now. Who knows?
Boy.
But
Is that
Yeah.
is that still conceivable in the future, or is that looking
don't-
pretty,
it's on the
pretty
back
dubious?
burner, I would say.
Is that right?
You know.
The price tag maybe $6 million?
Well, I'm just guessing, but
just
the
guessing, but
original,
it's
when they
under
did it, they gave
millions,
us a quote, was they figured $3 million.
Is
but
that right?
That was an estimate.
And
Wow.
plus, it's going to go. There'll be some wetlands involved there
Wow.
too, which
Yeah.
is going to
Boy,
complicate.
it sounds like a great idea, but yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's
don't
just
hold your breath on
money,
that.
Yeah.
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 You know, we got one project we got to finish first, this the
Yeah.
MVU project sidewalk. And
The price tag for the MVU project is roughly, you got a rough price tag?
it was
it
originally
1.6
about
or
$1
something?
million, around $1 million. I
Around $1
think.
million, but we have
Yeah,
not.
but that
we're
has-
waiting for the final design work.
Yeah.
Not hard to
Requested.
believe that'll be higher than that.
No, it'll be
Yeah.
more than that, I can
Yeah.
guess, yeah.
Right.
Because
And
it's
then-
been, I mean,
Wow.
probably 3-4 years since
Really?
it started, so
Right.
you know how much stuff's gone up since then,
Yeah,
so.
and is funding nailed down to some extent for
We
that?
have
or
some funding, yeah.
Some funding,
Yeah.
but you need more funding.
We probably will before it's
Probably
done,
will.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And will that have to be grants, or would the town throw in, if the town needs to throw in some,
Hopefully it's grants, but.
Right.
hopefully grants?
I was told that if we come up short, there may be some further grants to apply for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, you know,
but that's looking pretty solid.
yeah.
Yeah, they're hoping to have the design done by this summer, I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
And then ready to put it out to bid
So
next year.
Probably
so
the next year, 2024.
2024
And
project,
then
yeah.
completed maybe 2025.
Yeah.
Boy, so it's
I don't know.
a few years.
Yeah.
Boy, I think we probably mentioned before, that wasn't done when MVU went in 1970 or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, I guess
know.
better late than never,
Yeah.
if it happens. Pandemic, you feel the pandemic has eased? Has it even been officially declared over? I lose track of these
I
things, but
don't know.
how much did that throw the town back, James?
Yeah.
Is that, you dealt with it okay,
We
you
have an
think?
employee that gets it and
Yeah.
out, but we've been doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it seem to be in the past? Do you run into
Yeah.
any pandemic-related issues you run into these days, or not really?
No.
Not
Not really.
huge. I mean, some parts and stuff for the trucks that we've had issues getting because of the
Yeah.
pandemic, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest challenge we've had is getting something that, you know, it's on back order or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem, so.
Relations between the town and village, again, I already threw out the M word at you, but they seem to be pretty good. You're gonna
Seems to be good. We meet every couple months, I would
do
say.
get together once in a while.
Joint meeting, and,
Right.
yeah, no, seems to be good.
Probably the new village manager, Bill Sheets.
Bill Sheets,
I
yeah.
can only assume you talk to Bill Sheets once in a while.
Oh, yeah, we've actually went out to lunch a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to talk about the website. And next week, next Wednesday, there's a a luncheon meeting down at the Bay for all of the town managers and administrators in the county. Just then we're going to get a tour of the St. Albans Town Hall.
Gee, I still haven't been in there myself.
And so that's scheduled for next week. So it's good to hear from everybody what people are experiencing with their problems.
That sounds like a real logical thing for you folks to get together once in a while.
And so that, and then later this year, there's a statewide association of municipal managers and administrators, and they're having a meeting of some sort, which I might this year get a chance to go to.
Yeah.
Last year, I just was too busy and just couldn't.
Have you got any colleagues in jobs like that who are also former legislators? Any other legislators jumped into?
Don Turner is the Milton town manager.
Don Turner, of course, comes to mind, right?
I believe that is the only one I can think of off the top of my head right now. It's Don, but Don and I haven't crossed paths yet in this role.
Is that right?
But who knows? I'm sure we'll run into each other.
Interesting. Like Champlain water quality issues, you certainly get complaints, maybe not every summer, some summers for the good folks along Macquam Shore, when their shorelines can get pretty grubby. Any news of note on Lake Champlain water quality issues?
Friends of Northern Lake Champlain came to our last meeting. They got a grant to work on some projects down on Macquam Shore. To try to help with the problem, but you got to stop the runoff before it gets to the lake to help with the algae and stuff. Hopefully that'll help some. It's hard my opinion is hard for the town to put money into the lake when the town don't own the lake. It's a tough decision how you use taxpayers' money to fix the lake. And when the state's spending millions of dollars to try to clean it up, and that's a tough one.
Of course, Missisquoi Bay getting all kinds of that. Although it almost seems like Lake Carmi's kind of taken over as a poster child for Vermont's water quality problems, maybe even more than Missisquoi Bay and of course St. Albans Bay. But boy, tough problems. Brian, you deal with, does that issue come up? Is that on your agenda? I mean, Lake Champlain water quality, or not so much for?
Indirectly.
Indirectly.
We have a couple of stormwater permits that we have to apply for. And,
that's a huge thing.
That's a huge expense.
Boy, it sounds like that's becoming
Well, the state changed their regulations to do with them. It's going to cost the town tens of thousands of dollars now.
In fact, I guess as a St. Albans City resident, on my quarterly water sewer bill, I guess I get an add-on for, the runoffs, however they're dealing with that. It sounds like a big issue.
It is.
It is a big issue. I don't think it was the legislative intent. I mean, I voted for the bill because, we obviously want clean water. But when the rules were made and how they're factoring the fees and whatnot, the application fees can be horrendous. It was never. It wasn't the legislative intent for the municipalities to do that. Have that. At least this legislature.
Interesting.
We're hoping that maybe they can do a legislative fix before we have to actually apply.
Interesting.
We'll find out.
Speaking of the legislature, any particular thing you'd like that would help Swanton? Any particular bill that could help Swanton in any fashion or category, or nothing particular?
I haven't seen any bill introduced that might assist at this point. Of course, all bills that are going to be written have to be in. They've gone past the deadline now. They had to be in by the end of January. But I've got. I know there's a legislative breakfast this Saturday. I can't make it in Georgia.
Right, in Georgia.
But I do, and then the one in March is in St. Albans City, I believe, and then April is in Swanton. But there's a couple of people that I will be calling and talking to. I've already talked to our local legislators about this situation with the stormwater. But there's a couple of other things that we're running into difficulty and legal notices for meetings being published in the newspaper.
Really?
Newspapers aren't published daily.
Right. And on that note, we've run out of time.
Oh.
Thanks to Brian Savage, the Swanton Town Administrator, and outgoing Select Board Chairman James Gilmet. James, kudos
you.
to 8 years on the board. Maybe we'll see you in the future.
Sure.
Thanks to producer Alan. I'm Richard Cowperthwait. Thanks for watching us on Northwest Access TV. See ya.